Hi, this is Bithi Ahiri and today's topic is on dependent sample t-test. This dependent sample t-test is also known as t-test for paired observation of small single group. Now the thing is that we can compute paired t-test for the small group as well as for the large group also. But today's presentation is considering on the small group. It is always known to us that as we are talking about t-test, it is a parametric test and this is the theoretical ground of t-test actually, and it is usually deals with the large sample size. So here today focus point is to learn the basic idea on how to calculate dependent paired small sample t-test. So for the computing dependent pair large sample t-test, you have to look onto my next video. So here I have given a question. This is regarding the dependent sample t-test. Now I am going to start reading it out. The memory test scores of 10 students before and after drug administration are mentioned below. Is there any significant difference in the memory test scores due to the drug administration? Why I am offering it as a t-test? First, we need to understand these things. See, from the theoretical background of t-test, you know that t-test used to assess the significant mean difference between the two groups. So here, the independent variable is what? Independent variable is the drug. And what is the dependent variable? Dependent variable is the memory test scores. So memory test scores, this is the dependent variable and the measures of the dependent variable are mentioned below over here. And drug is the administration of the drug is the independent variable. So it has this independent variables has two levels. One is the before drug condition and another one is the after drug condition. We need to check whether this drug has any significant effect onto the memory test score. So drug is the independent variable and memory test scores are the dependent variable. And as it is mentioned, significant difference. Significant as a word denotes that we need to compute an inferential statistics, and difference, from this difference we can idealize that it is denoting the significant mean difference between the groups. And one more thing is that for computing all the statistics, you need to observe the variable and its nature. See the nature of the variable over here. Variable is in continuity. It is a continuous variable as it is mentioned over here as a scores. So over here we are going to compute t-test. But why this is dependent sample? Dependent sample or paired sample t-test usually consider a single group of subjects. Either a single group of subject is exposed before and after in that way conditions, or they are randomly collecting from the population this sample, a group of single sample is exposed into the control condition and the experimental condition. Or you can find in that way also that the same group of individual is going to be exposed pre-test and post-test. So whenever in the question there is before and after, pre-test, post-test, control group and experimental group, but same group of individuals are exposed in both the levels of the independent variable. If that is so, you have to compute the dependent t-test, or you can say it as paired t-test. In this presentation, we are focusing the small sample t-test. Now here the hypothesis. After finding out this question, you have to decide the hypothesis. And we all know there are two types of hypothesis. One is the null hypothesis that denotes there exists no significant mean difference between the two groups or two sets of scores. Or there is another hypothesis, that is the null hypothesis, which denotes there exists a significant mean difference between the two sets of scores. Now over here, the thing is that with the help of null hypothesis, we can come into one more extra point also, that whether this is one tail or two tail test likewise. Over here, we are not mentioning whether the second set of score is higher or lower than the first one. So whenever there is no direction mentioned, it will be the two-tailed test. And over here in the question which I have given, there is no direction mentioned. So that is the two-tailed test. Now hypothesis as per the question. Null hypothesis, it is represented over here as H0. There is no significant difference in the memory test scores due to drug administration. And alternative hypothesis is also mentioned over here. You can write it in HA or H1 manner. There is significant difference in the memory test scores due to drug administration. It is always helpful for the students to write the hypothesis in the manner as it is mentioned in your problem. So use that way the problem as it is given. Now over here, I would like to write the formula for t-test. Now see, here the formula for paired observation of small single group, and I have used the squared difference formula. So what is it? You need to write T equals to, give a large divided by sign, then summation D, then write root N summation D squared minus summation D whole square divided by N minus 1. This is very simple to remember. If you practice few times, I hope you can easily write it out. Now in the next slide, I have given the how to define this formula. D equals to difference between the paired scores x2 minus x1. Remember, here majority of the times we find that students used to make a mistake. Here you must not do the mistake. See, x2 score 2 minus score 1. In that very way we have to find the D. Then summation D in the formula that denotes the total of differences for each pairs of scores. D square equals to squared of each differences, N equals to sample size. Now here is the calculation table for paired small t-test of memory test scores using the squared differences. I have told you that memory test scores is the dependent variable over here, and we are using the paired sample t-test small formula we are going over here, and we are using the squared differences. Every word in the heading is actually very much technical in its sense. Like why I have mentioned over here, this the word paired. You have to identify it out. Why I have used the word sample. You have to identify it out. Why we are using t-test. You have to identify it out. What is the variable, dependent variable? You need to have your idea to develop. Unless and until it is useless to learn only the calculation, because you have to understand the underlying theoretical ground also. See, the thing is that statistics and its calculation and its theory go hand in hand, and it is always good if you know statistics as well as the methodology, so that will be helpful, and in this matter we will come later. See here, there is the individual number of individuals, and we are saying that there are total 10 number of individuals. That indicates this is the n should be, the sample size should be 10. Here the memory test scores is the dependent variable. Drug levels. The drug levels are before drug and after drug. So this is the two levels of independent variable. So I am writing for your better understanding. This dependent variable is the memory test scores, and this is the IV level 1. IV level 1, and you can consider after drug as the IV level 2. Now you have to identify the differences. See, this is very important. That in the formula you have to get the subtraction from score x2 minus x1. So 81 minus 67 is plus 40. Then comes the 120 minus 72 is plus 48. 109 minus 84 is the plus 25. So rest of the portion I thought that I will calculate with you. So that's why I left it out. So we have to compute 110 minus 90. So what it will be? It will be plus 20. Then we have to minus 103 from 103 97. So it will be plus 6. It will be plus 6. Very good. Then it will be 89 minus 69. It will be 20 again. Then 110 minus 80. It will be 30. Then we have 82 minus 75, and it will be 7. Then we have 115 minus 65, and it will be 50. All the time I am saying that from which number I am going to subtract which one. Why? Because so that you must not forget that x2 minus x1. 139 minus 94, and it will come up plus 45. So here we have to make a summation. See the summation sign I have given over here. So here we have to sum up the whole thing. It will be plus 265, which is very much important to remember. Then we have to write d square. Now 14 square. What is the 14 square? It will be 196. What is the 48 square? It will be 2304. Very good. Then 25 square, it will be 625. Then 20 square, it will be 400. 6 square, yes, 36. Again 400. Then we have 900. Then we have 49. Now 2500. And then finally, when we are going to square 45, it will be 2025. Now we have to sum up it. And the summation value will be 5349. 9435. So see the entire table. This table is very much important for this computation because this value plus 265 and this 9435. These two values are very important for our letter computation. Now here I am again writing the formula for your understanding, better understanding. T equals to, give a division sign, sum up D. Then over here it will be root over sign, give a root over sign, small n, summation D square minus summation D whole square. It will continue, okay? Over here, divided by n minus 1. And if we put the values over here, so what will come? 265 divided by root 10 into, remember the earlier slide, 9435 minus 265 whole square. Yes, and you do the calculation finally. Then 10 minus 1. And it will be the value of 5.118. Yeah, you can consider it as 5.12 also. And remember, one more important thing is degrees of freedom. We have to calculate the degrees of freedom. And the formula for this particular calculation is n minus 1. Always n minus 1 for paired sample t-test. Now it will be 10 minus 1 because 10 individuals are over there. So it will be 9. So what are the important things? This is the t-score. And if we need to check whether it is significant or not, so we have to consider the DF as well as the alpha level also. So in next slide of mine, see here, this is the t-test table. And we are using what? We are using one-tail test or two-tail test? We are using two-tail test because no direction has been mentioned in the question, given question. So for this, we have to consider 0.05 level, as you all know, and the 0.01 level of significance. So for 0.01 level of significance, if we go to the degrees of freedom for 9, right, it will be 3.250. See here. And if you go on to the degrees of freedom for 9 and 0.05 level, the critical t value will be 2.262. Okay, so here we have considering 95% and here we are considering 99%. So we all know that regarding this question, it is a two-tail test, that is the non-directional statistics, and it finds the significance of the magnitude of difference only, observed difference between the means of the two groups, the mentioned two groups. And here the algebraic sign has no importance. Both positive and negative differences between the group means are under consideration. So over here, we are going into the next. I think this slide is clear to you. Now we are going into the next slide. See over here, already I have mentioned the two things, that the level of significance, you can also write this is the alpha level as alpha value. Those, and for 0.05 it will be 2.262, that is the critical value, theoretical value, and for 0.01 it will be 3.250. Our t-score obtained value is 0.118, and degrees of freedom is mentioned over here 9. And this is significant at both levels. Why this is significant? Because see the obtained t-value, that is 5.118, which is obviously greater than the critical value of 2.262 when the level of significance is 0.05 and df is 9, as well as this 5.118, the obtained value is again greater than the critical value 3.250 when df equals to 9 and at the level of 0.01. So as the obtained value is higher than the critical value, it is significant. And I have put this 2 marks over here. You may not necessary to put these things, because during the thesis purpose, research purpose, we used to do, students may not have to do this. Okay, so because this 2 marks denotes that it is significant in both of the levels. So here, see, the basic fundamental concept is if the obtained value is equals to or greater than the critical value, then what happens? Then we accept the alternative hypothesis. But if the situation is opposite, like the obtained value is lesser than the critical value, then we accept the null hypothesis. So here I have written as the computed t-value, that is 5.118, exceeds the critical value 3.250 at 0.01 level of significance while df equals to 9. Hence, it can be inferred that the alternative hypothesis has been accepted by rejecting the null hypothesis. Therefore, it can be said that there is significant difference in memory test scores due to drug administration. So here again I would like to mention this memory test score is the dependent variable, and this drug administration, this drug is the independent variable. So we are over here focusing on to the matter whether the drug as an independent variable is significantly effective or not. That is the thing which has been fulfilled through this statistics. Now see, here I can mention the interpretation for 0.05 level also, but as the thing is already significant at 0.01 level, so it must be significant at the 0.05 level. Okay, so here I am not going to write that 0.05 level thing. That is why, because in both of the level the result comes significant. So I have mentioned only the 0.01 level over here. But for your examination purpose, if you wish, if you have the time, you can write both for both the result. You can discuss both the result for 0.05 level, then make a para, and again you can write 0.01 level discussion. Now the thing is that here I have given some of the exercises for your better understanding. And what are those exercises? First one, how could you identify paired sample t-test? This is the conceptual question very much. Now, what is the formula for paired observation of small single group? Define it. So, over here, this is the technical question, but you must remember that whenever you are writing the formula, you have to define it properly. So, the thing is that it is the single group, but as the two set of scores are there using in the problem in the question, so that's why the groups the word is used even in your book also. What are the steps to be followed to compute paired small sample t-test? You need to write the steps over here by your own, and if you write you want a concretized theoretical step writing thing, you need to watch my other videos where I am discussing the t-test theoretically. What is the DF formula for paired dependent small sample t-test? DF is very important always. Now here I have given an exercise to you. An adjustment test is administered twice to 12 employees during the job training. The before and after training adjustment scores are recorded and given below. Assuming normality, test the hypothesis using suitable test. So over here, what is important? See, what scores you are going with. You are going with the adjustment scores. So adjustment is over here dependent variable. And see that job training is mentioned over here. So job training is what? Job training is the independent variable and it has two levels. What are the two levels? Independent variable level 1 is the before job training, and independent variable level 2 is the after job training. How many individuals are over here in this study? 12 employees. See, 12 employees. So it denotes that n equals to 12. See, 12 sets of scores are over here. So single group of individuals who are exposed in two conditions and their scores are given over here. So that is why you have to compute paired or dependent t-test, and the total number of individual sample size is 12. So that's why you have to consider small sample t-test. Over here, see the thing, test the hypothesis. Test the hypothesis. This denotes that it should be the inferential statistics. So you are computing t-test over here depending on the nature of the variable also, because the scores are continuous in nature. This word, assuming normality, it denotes that it is a parametric statistics, because parametric statistics only follows the normal distribution. Now regarding this juncture, I want to share one more important thing about this. The t-test is said to be robust over moderate violation of assumptions of a normal population distribution. How statistician has figured it out, I may discuss it, but obviously in later videos. And the thing is that whenever the paired t-test gets sensitive, if it is one-tailed t-test and the population is highly skewed, that time, some serious issues for the t-test for dependent means comes up. But unless and until it is more or less robust over the moderate violation of the normal normal distribution assumptions. So this is very important point to know. Now again, I have given an exercise for you. The English test scores of 8 college students before and after 6 months practice are given below. Does the practice make a significant difference in English test scores? Test the hypothesis using 0.05 level of significance. Now again, what are the things you need to remember over here? What is the independent variable? How many levels are there? What is the dependent variable? And what is the nature of the dependent variable? These 2 points are very much important. Now, test the hypothesis means you have to compute inferential statistics and using 0.05 level of significance. For this, already you have the t-test table. I have already provided it to you, so you won't have to worry about it. The thing is that the main thing is that try to identify several things you need to identify, but the main important thing is that identify You need to try by yourself. Identify whether it is one tail or two tail test. This is very important for your concept to clear. Okay, do it out. If you face any difficulty, you can ask me into the comment section. Now here, if your concept gets clear or more clearer, then you can like it out. Subscribe the channel also, because in this channel, this is very new channel, but I am going to upload so many topics over here. So you can subscribe my channel. You can share it also. And if you have any doubt, write it out in your comment section. And finally, thank you so much for your patience.